か。
Last episode, we got a very big battle between Erika and Maria. That was amazing. Not gonna lie. But still.
随分変わった子だね。最近の若い子とはどうも相性が良くないよ。
George is done.
ジョージさんだってお若いですよ。
いとこで最年長ということもあって、ついつも自分がもう若くないって気持ちになっちゃって。
Moonlit nights. George and Shannon could be seen standing in the rainy rose garden, though the rain was still pouring down. There was hardly any wind at all. The scant protection provided by the arbor was more than enough to house this secret meeting between lovers. Following that fight with Erika, they had decided to play some cards for a change of pace. When that was over, Shannon had returned to the servant room, and shortly after that, George had left his room to meet with Shannon at the time they had arranged.
エリカさんくらいのお年の方が一番自分自身との付き合い方が難しいと思います。
そうだね。子供という殻を打ち破りたくて、あたり構わずくちばしを打ちつけるお年頃だね。
It has been a few moments since we saw this whole scene again.
それを打ち破れて、ようやく大きく羽ばたくことができる。僕もそうだったよ。かつてまだ殻の中にいた時の自分は情けなくひ弱な。
そんなことはありません。
いや、いいんだ。自分でも分かってる。かつての僕はいとこの中で最年長ではあっても、いつもぼんやりしているうだつの上がらない男だったよ。
Just like me.
それは何もいとこの中だけの話じゃない。家でも学校でも全てでそうだったさ。
Relatable. I hated being like that. Okay, I'm sorry. I wanted to break that shell and become a splendid adult like mother and father.
でもジョージ様はそれを打ち破られました。この数年のジョージ様は毎年出会うたびに道があるようでした。
ありがとう。
何かきっかけがあったんですか？
殻を破る？
はい、あれほどのまるでさなぎを経て蝶になるかのように目まぐるしく成長されたジョージ様がただ漫然と日々を過ごしていて、それを迎えられたとは思いません。それだけの大きな決意をされる何かきっかけがあったに違いないと思いまして。
君に惚れて愛の力で成長した。
Even George.
僕は今まで言ってきたんだけど本当はもっとネガティブな感情からだったんだ。
そんないつも明るく朗らかでおられるジョージさんにネガティブな感情なんてちょっと信じられないです。
僕はね、両親に女性は大切にしろと教えられてきたんだ。
I think.
そしてそれを実践してきたつもりだったよ。
Is it gonna be he's jealous of Battler maybe? Battler is just exceptional and charismatic, so maybe that's the sort of comparison he had to make. I don't know.
はい、とても紳士的で素晴らしいと思います。
本当は違う。異性とどう接していけばいいかわからなくて、過度に神格化して恐れて、紳士的なレディーファーストを装いながら。
Oh no, he's a nice guy. Oh god.
僕は女の子との交流に多分恐怖さえ覚えていた。
He's a nice guy. No, the relatability was thrown out the window. Oh no. Of course, George had wanted to be around girls as much as any healthy boy might. However, he didn't know how to interact with them. He wanted to act like a gentleman to avoid being disliked by them, treating them with care. Of those feelings, only the words "treat women with care" took precedence, blossoming into a subconscious fear of women.
そんな男を紳士的な奥手な男と呼ぶんだろうね。とんでもない、ただの臆病者さ。そのくせ自分はこんなにも紳士的なのにどうして彼女ができないのかと。最後には世間の女性は全て 男を見る目がないなんて勝手に決めつけ勝手に蔑み始めた。
The women in the world had no taste. Oh my god, you were an incel. Holy shit.
これが本当の情けない男ってのさ。
Very pathetic, very pathetic. How many years ago was it when I noticed? Probably when I was in middle school. Oh, okay. I guess you learned early that you were like that and change yourself, maybe. I don't know. At the time, I assumed that I was obviously the most gentlemanly of the cousins, so I would obviously be popular with women. Oh no. Yep, it's Battler. It's Battler. Of course it is. Of course. However, reality was very different. At school, I was pretty much completely hopeless. Far from being a leader, I was a typical bullied kid who got pushed around by everyone. At the time, I figured I was just a capable and adaptable man who could keep in the perfect tune with his surroundings. How stupid. Sure, I might have gained some measure of trust from girls. However, not only was there no one who could become my girlfriend, there weren't even any girls that I could call friends. Ugh.
そりゃそうさ。レディーファーストと称していつも後ろへ下がる男だよ。そんな後ろ向きな牽引力のない男の背中についていこうなんて誰が思うものか。
Nah, it's not that the ladies first part, it's the arrogance part.
滑稽だね。それに気づかず自分はさぞや魅力的な男子に違いないなんて思ってる。
I mean, looking back at episode 2.
その気持ちちょっぴりわかります。自分が異性に魅力的に見てもらいたくて努力した振る舞いが必ず思った通りの結果を導くとは限りませんから。へ
え、シャノンにもそういう経験が？
もちろんです。私だって男の子の気を引きたくてできもしないお化粧をして恥をかいたり恥ずかしい失敗の思い出がたくさんあります。
Who would that boy be, huh?
そんなうぬぼれた僕の目を覚ましてくれたのがシャノン、いや君たちだった。
どんなきっかけがジョージさんに訪れたんですか？
It was... Wait a minute.
嫉妬かな。
意外です。でも何に？
Battler, of course.
君とバトラ君がとても楽しそうに話しているのを見て僕は嫉妬した。
私がバトラ様と？
Shannon raced through her memories, trying to find a conversation that might have made George envious.
君たちにとっては他愛ない会話だったに違いないよ。でも、
oh, Battler is
僕はそれ
blushing.
に嫉妬を感じてしまった。
Oh no, Battler.
ここからの話は、バトラ君には絶対に内緒にしてほしい。約束できる？
もちろんです。
みすぼらしい僕の懺悔さ。でも聞いてほしい。今夜は僕の悪い部分も知ってくれた上で君に返事をもらいたいことがあるから。
はい、聞かせてください。
With a smile, but a serious look in her eyes, Shannon nodded. Tonight, she knew that he was going to ask her tonight. George had the right to confess before asking that sacred question. Shannon had obliged to listen. Shannon understood this, so she listened very quietly.
感激の魔女って随分趣味の悪い魔女なのね。
恋を語る話は時を超えて尊い。いくら聞いても飽きぬでな。
Oh no.
もっとも私にはエンジェの乙女らしい嫌悪の表情の方が愉快であるが。
Virgin disgust. Oh my god, don't do this. Feathering laughed quietly. Angie huffed and looked away. She quickly realized that this was only entertain Feathering even more, so she tried to act unconcerned.
バトラ君もジェシカちゃんも昔から快活だね。いや、そんな言い方は取り繕ってる。 だからこう言うよ。
They're charismatic and they are easy leaders to follow. Basically, George looked up at where the moon should be, high above the rain clouds, and spoke. They were honest words, spoken simply from George's heart.
僕は昔からバトラ君もジェシカちゃんも礼儀に欠けた子だと思ってたよ。いや、もっとダイレクトに言おう。言葉遣いの下品な子たちだなとさえ思っていたよ。本当さ。軽蔑してくれていい？
しません。人は何を胸中に思おうと許されます。むしろ態度に出さなかったジョージさんは立派です。
People are allowed to think anything they want inside.
ありがとう。僕はそんな彼らを内心見下していたよ。それに比べて僕はなんと立派で紳士的魅力にあふれているかと本気でうぬぼれていたさ。
I was at the age where having a girlfriend felt like a necessary condition for becoming a real man. I truly believed that no girl could fail to admire gentlemen who treated girls as well as I did. So I really did assume that the girls I knew were attracted to me.
それに比べたらいつまでもはしゃいだりふざけたり下品で低俗な言葉遣いばかりしているバトラ君やジェシカちゃんなんか絶対に彼女や彼氏ができたりするもんかと思っていたよ。それがいつまで経っても彼女ができない自分への精神安定剤だったのかもしれない。
Dude, you were 5 years older than they were. What the hell?
とんでもない。彼らは僕に劣ってなんかいない。むしろ異性を勝手に神格化してレディーファーストと称して恐れて避ける僕の方がよっぽど劣っていた。
How do you get jealous of a boy 5 years younger than you are? Wait. So let me see. 6 years earlier, Butler was what? He was 12? He was 12. So this was even earlier then. George was already 17 years old by that point. How the hell do you envy a 12-year-old kid? How do you do that? That doesn't make any sense.
バトラもジェシカも昔からああいう性分だった。確かにそやで紳士的、淑女的とは到底言えなかっただろう。しかし男女を分け隔てなく交流できる力があった。いや、魅力と言っていいかもしれない。
ちょっとわかるわ。お兄ちゃんやジェシカお姉ちゃんみたいなタイプの人って男女問わず誰とでも仲良くなれるタイプよね。
Butler needs to work on his sexual harassment manners, but still, yeah, he can get along with everyone.
ジョージお兄ちゃんには悪いけど、あまり紳士を振りかざしすぎる人ってちょっと気持ち悪いわ。
I guess since the answer asks, he hadn't done anything creepy, but I guess that's fine.
女に幻想を持ちすぎっていうか、なんというか。
Oh God.
人は無縁であるなら、相手が無害で退屈な人間であることを尊ぶ。しかしそれは邪魔にならないという意味で好まれているだけだ。退屈な人間を身近にしたいと願う人間などいるわけもない。
当然よ。動かず物も言わぬ電信柱と友達になろうというバカはいないわ。でも動かず物を言わないのは電信柱としては優秀だわ。
そういうことだ。ジョージはつまりいくら自分が優秀であっても魅力ある人間として認められていない。ただの電信柱扱いであることにようやく気づいたというわけだ。
Oh, wow, that's harsh.
僕は当時うぬぼれの真っ盛りだった。
Now I feel pity for George.
だから親族会議でみんなで集まっている時、一番魅力的なのは僕で、それに混じって遊んでくれた使用人の女の子はみんな僕に惚れていると信じていたよ。それがあの日、僕はそこでようやく自分がどれほどみすぼらしかったかを思い知ったのさ。
私が当時何か心ないことを言ってしまったのでしょうか。
For me and a partner, it'll be fun hobbies and cuddling, nothing more. If I'm having fun with someone, then it's very good for me.
いいや、逆さ。君は何も言わなかった。君の瞳に映っているのは常に僕だといううぬぼれが打ち砕かれたのさ。
Just when did it start? No, it must have started long before then. I only failed to notice because my eyes were clouded with conceit.
ある日、唐突に気づいたんだ。君たちがバトラ君やジェシカちゃんと僕なんかよりはるかによく馴
Guess
染んで。
that's why Battler is attractive, because he can have fun with everyone, and he's quite the jokester, and yeah, I don't know, it's hard to tell. Jessica is quite a bit weird because she's attractive, her personality is fun and all, but there are some points that I don't agree with her about stuff. Still. As for George, he's the average man, right? He's the, I don't know how to say. It's quite, I don't know much about relationships to criticize anyone.
楽しそうに遊んでいることに。
Yes, those two, whom I had looked down upon so much, were radiating far more charm than I was. You really looked like you were enjoying yourself that day. The look on your face was far brighter than any you have ever shown me. You have ever showed me.
気色悪い話さ。僕は君を勝手に僕に好意を持ってると決めつけ、ひょっとしたら異性の付き合いになってもいいかななんて青臭い白昼夢を許したことさえあるんだ。
As for now, George is much more mature than I am because he's already has a fiancée basically. So I only had a few girlfriends, and it's hard to say.
それを
We're at the same age, so I feel a bit inadequate when he's already marrying, when he's already asking someone to be their marriage partner at that age. But I don't plan on marrying just yet. Maybe in a few decades. I don't.
どこまでも僕はダメな男だったんだ。その時、ようやく僕は自分の愚かさに気づけたんだ。
ジョージ様。
その後、バトラ君はいろいろあって親族会議に来なくなったけど、ルドルフおじさんから彼の近況は聞いていたよ。おじさんも可愛い人だね。バトラ君とあんなにいつも喧嘩をしているのに、バトラ君の近況を常に気にかけていた。
So Battler stopped coming to the family conference, but George kept tabs on him because of Uncle Rudolph.
そうですね。私も聞かせてもらったことがあります。アスム様も呆れておられましたっけ。学校では大層女性に人気で、トラブルが絶えないのはきっとルドルフ様の血のせいに違いないと。
Rudolph's charm is in the dandy guy motif he has. Like, Battler is just fun to be around, I guess.
そしてジェシカちゃんも男女の友達を大勢作っていつもその中心で活躍していると聞いていたし、実際ジェシカちゃんと話してもそれは何の誇張でもないと理解できたよ。
This proved that the two I looked down upon were much more attractive human beings than I was.
最初はね、バトラ君たちを真似ようと思ったんだ。滑稽な話さ。ふざけたりはしゃいだり下品な会話を好めば彼らのような魅力が得られると思い込んだ。
ジョージ様がですか？ちょっと想像できません。
痛々しかったよ。僕もあの頃のことは生涯思い出したくない。そしてそんなことを真似ても 真の魅力は宿らないとすぐに気づいたよ。僕に魅力がないのは人を大事にすると称したり。
And we're having a moment here for George's character development.
場の雰囲気に合わせて振る舞えると称したりして、いつも一歩逃げている自分の臆病さにあったんだ。僕はそれを克服するために生まれ変わる決意をしたよ。初めて自分の殻というものを理解し、それを打ち破ろうと誓ったんだ。その意志がくじけそうになるたびにあの日のことを思い出してバネにした。君たちが僕を忘れて楽しそうに遊んでいた
For
あの
me,
日。
for me, I understand. For me, charm is a very simple thing, but it's just connecting with people and having fun with that person you're trying to connect with. If you're having fun with that person, then you're charming. But if you're trying to criticize them or just being like George is, it's hard to say.
僕に好意があると決めつけている君の瞳に
It's best that I don't give
僕が映
advice
って
on
いなかったことをね。
something like this. I'm not
誓ったんだ。
too experienced in
今度こそ本当に君を振り向かせて、その瞳に僕を映してやりたいとね。それが実は君に恋をした一番最初の感情。
複雑だったんですね。
あの日僕を無視して遊んでいた君たち、いや君への復讐がいつの間にか本当の恋心に変わっていったんだ。しかし神に誓うよ、それが君のことを真剣に考え出したきっかけだとしても、僕が今君に持つ気持ちには何の偽りもない。僕は君を生涯愛することを誓う。それは誰にも何にも偽らない。そして君を妻として迎えるために、僕には世界を敵に回すことだって厭わない覚悟がある。
ジョージさん。
I feel pity for George actually,
以上が
and Jessica as well.
君に先にしておきたい懺悔さ。僕は今日まで君のことを初恋で一目惚れだったと言ってきた。それは嘘なんだ。うぬぼれた僕の歪んだ。
関係ないです、そんなの。
They're just kids being brought into a death game, into a roll of the dice by Shannon, and it's quite cruel to say this, but Shannon shouldn't have killed them. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. They tried so hard, Shannon and George, Jessica and Kanon, and even then, wow, I feel pity for both of them. Shannon smiled. I know this is like revenge for the family and for Battler breaking a promise, but I don't think George or Jessica or Maria deserved it. Even though I know that Shannon's childhood might have been very horrible, I don't think George and the others played a part in it. I don't think so. And now George is trying his hardest, Jessica is trying her hardest as well, and Shannon isn't accepting either of them. Shannon smiled, but she spoke forcefully enough to cut through George's words. She didn't accept them actually, because everybody's dead by the point everybody's dead in 1986 after this. So she didn't accept either of them and just wanted to get revenge on Ballard and the family. Well, doesn't make if she really took pity on George and Jessica and Maria, then she would have placed them in Ecuadorian, right? Instead, and let them survive. But no, only Ava survives. Ah.
初恋じゃなかったら結ばれちゃいけないんですか？初恋の人を忘れたらそれは裏切りなんですか？恋ってそんな単純じゃない。
Is it a rule that saying people can get together just because they weren't each other's first love is it betrayal to forget the first person you fell in love with? Love isn't that simple.
いえ、単純かもしれない。だって恋なんて簡単。常に今の
Hearing this from Shannon makes me feel so angry, dude.
今の自分の正直な気持ちだけが正解なのだから。だか
Now that
ら
I think about it,
昔の話も馴れ初めも何も関係ないんです。
aren't important at
懺
all.
悔し損だったかな。
Still, I know that.
いいえ。
So Shannon and Kanon might be the same person. Beatrice is also the third personality, I guess. So Beatrice was born for Battler's sake. Beatrice is the feelings that Shannon has for Battler. Kanon is Shannon's feelings she has for Jessica. And Shannon is... God damn it.
何事も完璧なジョージさんにも人間臭い一面があることが分か
I
って
don't feel happy
ちょっ
about
と嬉し
this.
かったです。
I
そ
don't.
してそれを私だけに打ち明けてくれることに
ありがとう。
At this point, it cannot be any other than Shannon. It would make too much sense.
僕は君がいたから僕になれた。
There's too many clues, too much hinges on her being Beatrice that
私もジョージさんがいるから私でいるのです。だから包み隠さず教えてください。私たちはどんな夫婦になってどんな未来を築くのですか？
僕は君という妻を得て父さんを超える実業家になる。
I guess it's her inability to choose one, right? She still has feelings for Battler, she has feelings for Jessica and George, and she can't choose. Then she gets locked in place, doesn't know what to do. Why would she kill George and Jessica? Doesn't make sense, man.
そして様々
Or
な挑
leave
戦
them
や
to
冒険
die
を経て
in the end.
自分の可能性の限界を確かめたい。その到達点の頂に君と一緒に至りたいんだ。そこからの眺めは僕以外の誰にも見せられないものになる。
楽しそうです。どこまでもお供します。
もちろん実業家としての冒険だけじゃない。夫婦でしか築けないものもたくさん積み上げていきたい。
それはどんなものですか？
子供を作ろう。
はい、旦那様。
最低3人は作りたい。男の子も女の子も両方欲しい。
もし3人とも男の子だったら？
次こそ女の子かもね。
Oh
4人目を
God.
作ろう。何人いてもいい。子育てという冒険も2人で楽しもう。そしてやがては巣立った子供たちが孫を連れて帰ってくる。気づけば僕たちは大勢の子供と孫に囲まれた賑やかな老後を迎えてるだろうね。
Yeah, that's a nice thought, but
楽しそうです。ジョージさん、どんなおじいちゃんになってるんでしょうね。
君こそ
I hope it
どんなお
isn't
ばあちゃんにな
Kinzo.
ってるんだろうね。 僕は君を変わらず愛し続けるよ。
Because Battler is channeling his inner Kingzo right now, and it's not good.
そして大勢の家族に見守られながら王女をできたら、僕たちの人生は誰にも負けないものとして描き切られる。
George didn't just talk about his love of the present. He swore to love her soul until the final moments, when the lid of their coffins would be shut. Then George took a small box out of his pocket. Even without opening it, she knew what was inside. He took it out with a motion that was even more natural than the one he'd practiced in the airport bathroom, and it was overflowing with masculine charm. Oh god.
さよ、
はい、
結婚しよう。
はい。
この指輪をどうかその指に通してほしい。
What about Kanon?
はい。ジョージさん。
That ring. What about Jessica? That ring, which glistened divinely even in the dim light of the arbor, passed from George's hand to Shannon's finger. Of course, Shannon had already decided which finger to put it on.
僕と君の未来を阻もうとする全ての運命に、僕は毅然と立ち向かうことを誓う。
George proclaimed that he would reveal their engagement to the entire family on the next day.
僕たちの結婚に両親はとやかく言うかもしれない。でも僕はそれを許さない。僕が親にするのは婚約の報告であって、認めてもらいたいわけじゃない。もし母さんが君との結婚を許さないと言い出すなら、僕は自ら勘当を申し出て君と家を出るつもりだよ。
Hey Shannon, are you planning to kill George again, like you did in episode 3?
僕にはその覚悟がとっくにあるんだ。僕たちの未来を阻む全ての運命に、僕は毅然と立ち向かう
I'm
ことを。
very critical of Shannon, I'm sorry. But I will be. I will be. I need to be. Because she is the problem. George had said it out loud. So Shannon said the same thing.
私も、私とジョージさんの未来を阻もうとする運命に、毅然と立ち向かうことを誓います。
I know that her birth should have been very hard for her. And her childhood was even worse, probably. And Bachelor's betrayal must have stung quite a lot, but it isn't motive to do this. I'm sorry. Not from my point of view. Oh,
バトラさ
Erika.
ん、いつ事件が始まるんです？もう恋愛ごっこお腹いっぱいなんですけど。
I'm not criticizing the love story, but I'm just criticizing Shannon for being like that.
黙って見ていろ。
はいはい。私があくびでもした隙に何かとんでもない伏線を通過されたらたまりませんから。
お前には愛はないのか？
愛が証拠として受理されるミステリーってあるんですか？
I
あり
mean,
ませんから。
love might be a motive. Erika laughed coldly and stared down at two on the game board. Battler watched her quietly. Erika thought she felt a touch of pity in his gaze, and she averted her eyes uncomfortably. Oh god, are we going to see actual romantic developments between Erika and Battler?
一応理解はしてますとも、愛が殺人の動機程度にはなりうることく
Oh
らい。
no.
一応この東屋での出来事は2人の婚約に障害が生じた場合、犯行の動機となりうる程度には解釈しとこうと思います。まあ赤くない言葉でいくら愛をささやこうとも全ては幻ですが。
Ooh. Oh
か
no.
わいそうにな。お前は魔女に証拠が与えられなかったら人も愛せないんだな。
くだらない恋愛トークはやめてください。私はあんたの敵であって恋の話に付き合う酔狂な友人ではありませんから。
How do these two become husband and wife? I don't get it. Why?
私には 今のあんたがさっぱりわかりません。一体あんたは何を悟ったってんです？あんたとベアとは罵り合い殺し合う関係だったはず。
It was oh god.
そのあんたが何の真相に至ってベアトに対する感情を変えたんですか？
I still feel that no matter what Ballard did, he doesn't need to feel obliged to Beato after so long. I don't think he needs to feel responsible for it.
まさか殺し合うライバル関係から恋愛感情が芽生えたとか
Exactly
バカな
that.
こと言い出さないですよね。
Exactly that. It was a Stockholm syndrome situation, I think.
エリカ卿、ゲームの進行を続けさせましょう。退屈な恋愛シーンなどとっとと終わらせるに限ります。
Oh god.
ほんとそうですね。口を挟んで失礼。ささどうぞ続きを。
Who is going to die? Is he gonna sacrifice anyone? Is Butler really going to sacrifice his family for a game?
シャノンです。
White Shadow
戻り
again.
ました。
うん、今日の日誌はまだだな。
はい、すぐに提出します。カノン君、留守番をありがとう。
長い休み時間だったね。
Shannon had already noticed. There was a silvery glint coming from the ring finger of Shannon's left hand.
では、私は先に休む。
Does Genji know about this? He knows.
何かあったら構わず起こすように。
Definitely knows.
おやすみなさいませ、源氏様。
Again. It's so blatant. Genji disappeared off to the waiting room. After that, only Shannon and Kanon remained. Only one person remained.
時間をくれてありがとう。あとは私が控えてるから、カノン君ももう休んでもいいよ。
今度は僕の出番ってことだ。
悪いけど、私たちは負けないよ。
僕だって負けるものか。
今日まで臆病で、お嬢様にリードしてもらわなければ何もできなかった君が。
So basically, this is all a self-critical. It's just one person being self-critical of themselves.
姉さんが教えてくれたはずだよ。
何を教えたかな。
恋に昔も過去も関係ない、今だけが重要なんだって。もしそれが本当なら、僕の今は姉さんの今に何も負けてるなんて思わない。
Shannon and Kanon glared at each other with serious eyes. A period of tension vanished when Shannon chuckled.
それでいいよ。君とお嬢様も頑張って。
Shannon definitely pushed the servant down the stairs. Definitely.
もしも結ばれるなら、私たちが心の底から祝福できるくらいに素敵な関係になって。
姉さんにかなりのリードを許してるけどね。
仕方ないよ。それが君のこれまでの臆病の対価なんだから。
Didn't they mention in the past there was a servant who fell down the stairs by Beatrice's design? It was Beatrice's fault. I don't believe it.
分かってる。それが僕の。
Okay, I'm being too critical. I'm being too critical of Shannon. I'm sorry. Shannon and Kanon fished around in their pockets and drew out two small things that glittered gold. They looked like the left and right wings of a gold butterfly.
私たちは家具、人間になって愛を育む奇跡を得るには、もう一度魔法の奇跡を頼らなくてはならない。
あいつのブローチが役に立つなんて。
私たちの手元にある。
It was a golden butterfly brooch, which Beatrice had once given to Shannon in the hopes of creating love between her and George. I think that this brooch, it might have been given by Kinzo or Kumasawa, and that brooch might have been her mother's, I think. The second Beatrice that fell on the cliffs. I think that Shannon received that. Shannon then gave it to Kanon. But he let his emotions get a hold of him and crushed it into pieces. So when the two wings they held were brought together, it regained the form of a beautiful butterfly. It's so blatant.
行ってくる。
It's so...
僕もトランプに一応呼ばれてたからね。
頑張ってね、お嬢様。きっと喜ぶと思う。
少し照れるな。
楽しんで、その感情を。
Kanon left the servant room. He went to go see Jessica and tell her what he had determined to do. Shannon quietly watched him go. A fragment of the brooch, the engagement ring let out a gold and silver glint.
懐かしいぞ。あれは確かにわらわがシャノンに与えたもの。カノンが踏みつぶして以来、どこへ紛失したかと思っていたら、まだ持っていたのか。
黄金蝶のブローチですね。
A mother giving their child the brooch. Through Kumasawa, maybe? Kumasawa, Kinzo, or Genji. Probably Kumasawa.
恋愛を助ける魔法のブローチと、フェザリーヌさんの本で読みました。
That had been the first time Beatrice, Witch of the Forest, had interacted with a human and given them her power. Bit by bit, she had transformed from a mere ghost to the rule of the mansion at night. And by making the servants believe in her, she had wiped away the anti-magic power. And then, it eventually became possible for her to appear openly in front of Shannon, whose magic resistance had gone particularly low, and who had begun to believe in the existence of Beatrice. To Beto, who had been unable to interact with anyone for many years, this conversation with Shannon must have been especially fun.
だから気前よく黄金蝶のブローチを与えてやったのだ。わらわは相当上機嫌であったのだな。わらわのごとき冷酷な魔女がそこまでサービスをするとは。
でも素敵です。あなたは未来の恋人たちの仲を取り持たれたのですから。
もちろん甘やかしたつもりはないぞ。わらわの魔力を抑えつけてきたあの肉々しい冷境を割ることと引き換えだ。
Oh, the dog, I'm sorry.
そのおかげでわらわは一気に力を取り戻すことができたのだから。
しかしある夜、紫の雷が鎮守の社を打ち砕いたのです。島々の者たちは協調だとささやき合いました。おお、今思えば、あれこそがベアトリーチェ様復活の印だったに違いありません。
There's a dog barking outside. I'm sorry if you hear that. Kumasawa had the rest of the night off, so she had let Erika talk her into drinking a bit, and was chatting about the legend of Rokkenjima and Beatrice in a happy, tipsy mood. Erika could nod from time to time, but besides this, she listened in complete silence. She wasn't actually taking notes, but she was gathering information on the whiteboard inside her head. Then she frowned as noticed something out of place, and held up her hand.
ちょっとストップを。
はい。
その鎮守の社は悪食島の悪霊を封じるために旅の修験者が建立した。
The great detective knows.
そうでしたね。
ええ、そうでございます。強い神通力をお持ちだったということで、その力を鏡に込め
霊境として社に奉納し悪霊を封印した。少し違和感を覚えます。悪食島の悪霊を封印する社がどうしてベアトリーチェも封印するんです？
はあ、それはその霊境の神通力が。
なるほど、東洋の悪霊も西洋の魔女も OK の便利な霊境だったから。わかりました。
すっきりはしませんが、そこは折れることにしましょう。しかしどうしてベアトリーチェが雲の巣も嫌うのか分かりません。
According to the legend, the evil spirits of Akujikishima despised spider webs, so they were apparently used as wards against evil in the surrounding islands. In fact, spiders are a useful bug. There's nothing strange about the fact that island farmers had treasured them. I guess Shannon and Kumasawa used that to expand the legend of the witch further. It's very possible that they were tied to the story of evil spirits and became known as charms against evil. I guess it's a story for Maria, actually. Since Maria met with Shannon and Kumasawa during her... I think she met with Shannon and Kumasawa when she visited the island, so I guess they spoke about the legend with her. It is very possible that they were tied to the story of evil spirits and became known as charms against evil, leading to a tradition of people treating this useful bug with care through the generations.
しかしそれ、悪食島伝説の話です。
In another thought, I'm finally gonna get vaccinated tomorrow. Well, my country has been very difficult with vaccinations for people, so I'm pretty happy.
そもそもベアトリーチェの魔女伝説の発祥は、この島に引っ越してきた後宮金蔵がミステリアスな黄金伝説とそれを授けた魔女という名の愛人を吹聴してから始まったものです。つまり悪食島の悪霊と黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェは本来全く異なる存在のはずなんです。なのに設定が同じになっています。
さてはて。
They used that to tell tales to Maria, and that spread, maybe. Evil spirits of Akujikishima couldn't stand spider webs, so neither could Beatrice. The sort of reasoning had been applied all over the place. I mean, let's point out that this was strange. Kumasawa was at a loss for an answer. But how does Kinzo factor?
金蔵さんの書斎のドアノブはサソリの魔法陣が描かれていて、それは西洋魔術では魔除けを意味する。だから西洋魔女のベアトリーチェはドアノブに触れられない。これは理解できるんです。でも雲の巣に限ってはベアトリーチェが嫌う理由がありません。私の知る限りでも西洋魔女の苦手なものに雲の巣があったという記憶はありません。むしろ雲は魔女の仲間や眷属では？思うに悪食島伝説の悪霊と魔女伝説のベアトリーチェ、この2つの異なる伝説が少し混交しているように思います。
She's pressing Kumasawa.
いいえ、混交どころか融合かもしれません。悪食島伝説はロッケン島周辺の暗礁を恐れた漁民たちが生み出したおとぎ話。しかし悪食島に住まう悪霊なる者には具体的なビジュアルイメージが伴っていませんでした。人なのか怪物なのか、はたまた足のない幽霊なのか、さっぱりイメージがありません。人はビジュアルを伴わない空想を苦手とします。そこにベアトリーチェという魔女の伝説が登場した。悪霊よりは魔女の方が想像しやすい存在です。しかもその上、金蔵さんはベアトリーチェの肖像画を描かせ掲示しました。
This was 2 years prior.
つまり悪食島伝説の一番の弱点、たたる悪霊のビジュアルイメージが初めて保管されたわけです。そこからいつの間にか2つの伝説が混じり合っていってしまったのではないでしょうか。
どうでございましょうね。この老いぼれには少し難しい話にございます。
You are part of the problem, Kumasawa. You're part of the problem. Kumasawa laughed to smooth it over, wiping away a cold sweat. She might have seemed confused, but she actually did understand what Erika was saying. In truth, she had been vaguely aware of how the legend of Kishima, which had been around before Shourmei kings had come to Rokkenjima, and the legend of the Golden Witch, the story of the woman who had given Kingzo a vast quantity of gold, had both transformed. She didn't want to acknowledge it, but she knew. The setting where Beatrice hated the spirit mirror and spider webs had been based on the ancient legend of Kishima. The evil spirit part of the legend had just been replaced by the witch of the portrait.
もし黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェを自称する人物がいたとして、彼女が本当に蜘蛛の巣を嫌うのかどうか、ぜひ聞いてみたいものです。触れるとどうなるんでしたっけ？
魔女の眷属は蜘蛛の巣に触れるとやけどを負うそうですから、多分そうなるんじゃないかと。
いいじゃないですか。見事な魔女裁判です。蜘蛛の巣に触れてやけどするならば、それは悪霊の方であって魔女ではない。そして触れても何も起こらないのであれば、ただの人間であることの証。つまりやけどしようがしなかろうが、黄金の魔女など存在しないという証になります。魔女伝説なんて所詮悪事木島伝説が装いを変えただけの焼き直しに過ぎないのです。
はあ。
Could have Shannon solved the... When did she solve the epitaph? Could it be before she found... could it be before the portrait was put in place, maybe? She found the gold, so she became Kingzo's... She should have become Kingzo's new heir, or the new lord of Rokkenjima, but she did not. She still continued to be a servant. Could Kingzo... Then she dressed as Beatrice, and they made a portrait out of her to put in the hall, and in Kingzo's study, I guess.
ただ伝説がそこにあるだけで、フルドエリカはこの程度の推理が可能です。いかがです？皆様方。
Very good. Though only the two of them were in the lounge, Erika faced in the direction of an invisible audience would have been, and shrugged. And just as Erika imagined, the targets of her comments actually were there, listening in.
蜘蛛の巣ですか？触れるとやけどを？
When Beato the Elder snapped her fingers, a graceful silver spider slipped down from the ceiling, hanging by a transparent thread. Afterwards, only a single silver strand remained. Timidly, Beato stretched her finger out towards the spider's string. Then she touched it.
平気です。
Then she is a human.
平気なのか？
Beato the Elder lifted up a white, pale finger, and after showing it to her little sister, she traced the silver string with it. There was a stench like a single hair being burnt. Once again, she held her finger up in front of Beato, who was stunned. There was a thin burn line, as though someone had traced the cross with a razor. So she's an evil spirit. So this all lines up. She is Beatrice II, the Beatrice that fell on the cliffs, and that's her evil spirit. And Beatrice, the new Beato, is Shannon a human?
これはわらわが聞きたい。どうしてそなたは平気なのか。
わかりません。むしろ逆に、どうしてお姉様が蜘蛛の巣に触れるとやけどをするのかわかりません。
Because she isn't a real witch, she's just a ghost of a woman who died here.
わからぬ。わらわが自らの存在を意識した時からそういうことになっていた。
She isn't the witch. That's what I'm trying to say. She is the ghost of the Beatrice who fell to her death.
ではお姉様は。
Beato hesitated. However, her question was clear.
違う。わらわは悪食島の悪霊などではない。わらわはロッケン島の夜を支配する魔女ベアトリーチェである。どうしてこの島の太古の悪霊と同じ弱点を持つのかはわらわにもわからぬ。
So she thinks she's a witch, but she's actually a ghost. Oh no.
苦手なのは蜘蛛の巣だけですか。
エリカとやらが言うように金蔵の書斎のドアノブもダメだ。
Because the one who becomes a witch is Shannon, not her mother.
あのサソリの魔法陣はわらわを焼く。わらわにとって金蔵の書斎の扉を開けようとするのは真っ赤に焼けた蹄鉄を渦中に拾うも同じこと。
Beatrice inside of Shannon might be an accumulation of battlers, memories of battler, and then her feelings, regrets towards her mother, maybe. Definitely something about her mother as well.
そなたはどうか。
サソリの魔法陣ですか。
The older sister snapped her fingers again. When she did, the surrounding scene bent and twisted, and they had suddenly moved to the place in front of Kinzo's study. And there was the doorknob engraved with scorpion magic circle.
魔術を研究するものならば、人的にも霊的にも隔絶された隠れ家が必須となる。金蔵が自らの書斎を閉ざし、このような魔除けを施したとしても不思議はない。
The scorpion charm causes a problem, though.
そしてそれは困ったことに、わらわにもこうして効果がある。
She gently pressed the doorknob. As she did, a violent burning sound, unbelievably stronger than the one caused by the spider web, rang out.
お姉様、大丈夫ですか。手は。
Her hand had been horribly burnt, and Beato couldn't help but avert her
安
eyes.
心せよ。これ式すぐ治る。
Apparently, it will heal by itself if left alone. The older sister seemed to heal at an inhuman rate.
だがそなたはどうやら平気らしいな。
She timidly poked the doorknob. Nothing happened. Slowly, she touched the entire palm, but she felt nothing but pleasantly cool sensation.
不思議だ。そなたはわらわの分身であるにもかかわらず、わらわとは様々なものが異なっている。
逆にドアノブに触れても平気ですが、お姉様のような火傷を負ったら私は簡単には治らないと思います。
まるで普通の人間のようであるな。
Oh man.
はい、私自身自分が魔女だとはちょっと信じきれていません。
This whole interaction between Beatrice and Beatrice is so good. And it makes me feel so uncomfortable as well.
私にはお姉様のように魔法を使うこともできないし、不思議な火傷も、そしてすぐに傷を治すこともできません。お父様は私を偉大なる魔女の生まれ変わりだと信じてくださいましたが、私にはそれが信じられなくて。
そなたは何者なのか。
私はベアトリーチェ。お父様のために生まれてきました。お姉様は？
わらわもまたベアトリーチェ。金蔵に魔法にて黄金を授け、その後も魂となって島に縛り付けられている体を失った魔女である。 私たちは一体何者なんでしょう。わらわと違い、そなたは体を持つ存在のように見える。そうなんですか？エリカとやらの話を聞いて、わらわはふと思った。魔女であり魔法が使えるが、体を持たぬわらわと、そして魔女であるが魔法は使えず肉の体を持つそなた。わらわたちはやがて一つになり、掛け合った部分を埋め合って、本当のベアトリーチェとして完成されるのではないだろうか。
It seemed to make sense. Both of the Beatrices were missing something. If they became one, they would surely be close to the Beatrice that Ballard desired.
試して見るか。手を出せ。
The older sister slowly raised her palm and held it out before Beato. The large burn from a second ago really had started to heal already.
わらわたちは一つになれるかもしれぬ。
You need to do the dance. You need.
わらわも知りたい。そなたと一つになることで未来のわらわを知りたい。
Beato also raised her hand slowly, and the two hands touched. But nothing happened. Perhaps this meant that, while they were fated to become one eventually, that time had not yet come.
わらわにとって雲の巣が苦手なのは当たり前なこと。しかしそなたはそれを知りもしなかった。同様にそなたは自分が生まれてきた理由をお父様のためだという。そのお父様というのはどうやら後宮バトラのことらしい。わらわも年に数度しか訪れぬ稀な客人である彼のことは知っているが、その稀な客人の彼とそなたというわらわにどのような接点があるのか理解できぬ。わらわたちは互いをもっと知るべきに違いない。そうですね。
Is this Beatrice a piece, or is she... it's hard to say. Right now, my heart tells me that she's a piece created by Ballard, the older one, to guide Beatrice maybe, but that's my heart speaking. That's what I want to happen, that he's not a bastard. But,
私たちは互いを知り合うことで本当に大切なことに至れる気がします。
On the surface level, at least. Under the surface, she is Shannon's mother. But I guess it's more like Shannon learning about her mother, learning about the legend of the witch, that sort of thing.
その向こうにいるのが一なる未来のベアトリーチェ。いや、それこそがわらわたちのあるべき正しい姿に違いない。
With their hands still joined, the two Beatrices sought to fill in the parts the other lacked, and regain their single form. Bit by bit, Beato was walking down the path led to the form of Beatrice. Oh man. This episode is gonna be very heavy. It's already revealing quite a lot of things. Ooh, this again. I could hear the eerie sounds of wind and rain. Once again, I hastily regained consciousness on top of the bed. The finger the witch had bitten off was attached to my hand. That's not to say that it was all an illusion, but my finger was now attached. After all, the pain and the teeth marks as though the witch had bitten it were still there. And yet the window, which I had supposedly smashed, had been fixed, as though it had never been broken in the first place. How can I escape from this creepy room? Why am I locked up in this eerie room all alone? I want to get out. I have to get out. Please, let me out. The door was sealed with a firm chain. I could open it a crack. It was only enough to peek out into the corridor at best. Even getting just a fist through it would probably be hard. The window wouldn't budge either. It was no better than a barred prison window. The bathroom didn't even have a window. The only thing that could get out of there was the water that flowed out if you turned on the tap. No matter what I do, I can't think of a way out of here. While shut up in a place like this, I truly am a prisoner. Unless someone comes from the outside to save me, I won't be able to get out for all eternity. In that case, can I just call for help? Eternal chains. Yes, the tiny gap I can make the door must exist so that I can call for help. But can I make the words come out? Earlier, I tried to call out for help. For some reason, the words couldn't escape my mouth. Maybe I was just confused. I might have lost my voice in my haste and confusion. I'll open the door and make that crack appear one more time. The warm light of the hallway flowed in, making the darkness of the room stand out even more. Though I couldn't hear any voices, I did feel something peaceful. I'm sure everyone's in the room at the other end of the hallway, chatting happily about something. If I can't just call out, surely someone will come save me. Hurling back some indescribable fear, I tried yelling once more. But the result was the same. It was like trying to yell underwater. All I did was get out of breath, unable to call out in the slightest. Even though I could say as much as I wanted if I just grumbled to myself inside the room, whenever I tried to make my voice reach outside, I choked and was unable to say anything. I understand. My body isn't the only thing locked up in this eerie closet room. My voice is too. Thinking that I could use some other kind of sound to call for help, I try opening and closing the door violently, making the chain rattle. It does sound as though it's clicking noisily, but it's surely no good. Even the sound is being locked inside this closet room. No matter how harsh a sound I make, I'm sure it'll be quieter than a leaf falling by the time it reaches the other end of the corridor. I try using the hateful chain that sealed the door to make a sound to call for someone. That only deepened my despair. This chain. That's insane. Just a second ago, it was a stiff chain that looked like it might be used to seal a monster away. But at some point, it had transformed into a normal chain lock. This changes everything. Now I can just do it, undo it from the inside. I tried to undo it, but the chain wasn't long enough for that, while the door was still open a crack, and I couldn't get it off. Obviously. Calm down. I gulped and calmly closed the door. Then, when I saw that the chain had slackened enough, I touched it with my finger to make sure. When I was little, I hated chains, because I could never get them undone right. However, that was a long time ago. Now I can undo something like this. Anyone could. It's easy. Clank. I imagined the demon who'd locked me inside. I imagined the demon who'd locked me in this room, using this as a trap to give me hope, just to make me despair even more. But I pushed those thoughts aside for the time being. I undid the chain lock, and the chain dangled there, right before my eyes. Now, there's no lock sealing this door. Please, don't torment me anymore, and just open normally. Slowly, the door opened. When I closed the door to undo the chains, the warm light from the hallway got cut off. If I open it again, what if that warm light is gone this time? I wasn't even afraid of stuff like this. Or if that was just me over-imagining things. Slowly, quickly. No, I guess this is normal for a door. There's a door let out an annoying creak. The exit from this cursed closet, this cursed closed room, finally opened. I did it. I did it. Even my cry of joy was strangled. But that doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is that I can get out. I poked my head out and looked left and right down the corridor. The warm corridor. I could sense people having fun at the other end. Everyone's right there. Let's go. Right now. Yeah. Oh my god, that scared me. At that moment, something cold and heartless crushed my throat. Golden Slaughterer. It was as though an iron loop had been fastened around my neck and pulled down hard from behind. Oh, this music again. Oh, this is so good. Let's enjoy Golden Slaughterer. No, not as though. Without my knowing, at some point, a thick metal collar had been fastened around my neck. When did this happen? When I turned around, I despaired even more. Out from the inner side of the door I had just opened, a thick chain had extended and attached itself to this collar I was wearing. Close the door, don't get pulled inside again, please. I pulled on it, but it didn't even budge. When I shook it, the whole door creaked. What the hell? The chain that connected my collar was attached to the inner side of the door. Yes, the same vanishing chain that had secured the door a short while back had suddenly become a chain holding me in place. That's insane. That's insane. Damn it. What's going on here? I pulled with all my strength, trying to tear the whole door off. I already knew from repeated experiments that it wouldn't even budge. I'm sure this chain will disappear once I go inside. Once I go back inside the room. But it'll never let me leave that room. Though it had apparently turned back into a normal chain lock, nothing had actually changed. The chain lock still bound me to that room. Tears flowing down my face. I pulled with all I had. It was completely useless. No matter what I did, I'd never tear it loose. And I wasn't even permitted to call for help. I felt a confused anger at how the demons had mercilessly made me think that I had escaped for just an instant. Close the door and put your back on the door so that the chain doesn't pull you in. And you can stay outside with the chain still on you. But no matter how much I yelled, no voice came out, and no one on the other end of the corridor could hear me. Then I noticed an odd stain on the wall of the corridor. It wasn't a stain. They were letters, traced out by a finger that had been covered in red paint. Those letters, which looked like they'd been drawn in blood, answered my biggest question. A chain lock must be set. You're allowed to unset it, but it must then be reset. Unless it is set, this access of yours will be unusable. Oh. I instantly understood the meaning of that ominous message, and I tried it out and understood completely. When I returned to the room and reset the chain lock, the collar around my neck disappeared, and I undid the chain lock again. The heavy feeling around my neck returned. In other words, I cannot leave this room while the chain lock is still unset. In that case, why don't I just set the chain while outside the room? And did the chain one more time. The collar and chain appeared around my neck again. I stepped out into the corridor and closed the door behind me, leaving only the slightest of cracks. I stuck my hand through that crack, grabbed the dangling chain and tried to reset it somehow. Damn it. I knew that was so easy to do from the inside. Why is it so hard to do it from the outside? The gap I needed to be wide enough if I wanted to manipulate the chain well. However, that made the chain too short to reach. To make the chain reach just a bit further, I had to close the door a little bit more. But if I do that, there won't be enough of a gap to fit my hands in. Of course, that was perfectly natural. Chain locks are made to be used from the inside. That'd be completely pointless if you could set it and unset them from the outside. That's why the length of the chain is specially chosen to prevent anyone from setting or unsetting it from the outside. Then, can I use some kind of hard and thin tool? If the gap of the door is just a finger's width across, that's more than enough for the chain to reach. If I could just bend a wire hanger so that it fits through the crack and work the chain with that. That's right, there's a closet just to the side of the door. Could there be some hangers in there? Found one. Oh, thank God. A single cheap-looking hanger, like one you might find in a laundry room, was hanging there. Really? I'm pretty sure that when I last looked a short while ago, nothing like this was in the closet. Who cares? Quickly, quickly! I twisted the wire hanger, bending the ends with the tip around. I formed a loop at the end to grab at things with, making it for a sort of burglar's tool. I then dashed out into the corridor again and closed the door almost as far as it will go. My wrist could never pass through this. However, if I close it this much, the chain should have extra length to spare. And this crack is large enough for me to stick the hanger through. Now it's just a matter of technique. If I keep trying, I'll definitely be able to do it eventually. I'm certain of it. It's harder than it looks. The chain is long enough. It isn't impossible. I had finally got my hands on the one way to escape. It was hard, yes. It was theoretically possible. If it's possible, then I'll be able to get out. I'll be able to escape from here. What is that? Bern Castell? What is that? What is that? That's a dark tube toy. At that moment, I felt a heavy weight on the far side of the door. It felt as though someone inside the room had pressed their forehead against the door and was drawing closer. And she, the witch, had left. Then I felt a powerful and strange force on the wire hanger. Is she trying to grab it away from me? Yeah, right. Like hell, I'll let it go. Like hell, I'll let my one key out of here get stolen while my guard's down. Fortunately, I stuck my wrist through it so that it wouldn't drop if my hand got tired. You won't be able to snatch this out of my hands. Oh my God. The witch on the other side of the door laughed at me. Then I noticed something weird. I looked at my left hand, which I had pressed against the door to hold it in place. And between the fingers of that hand, I could see something red. They were red letters. I realized immediately, at some point in time, even more bloody letters had been drawn on the door. My left hand had been covering them up. Still fighting against this vice-like strength of the witch beyond the door, I moved my left hand to the side. where that hand had been. Bloody letters had indeed been drawn, and there, as though someone had predicted that I'd struggle this way from the very beginning, was a message from the witch to me. It is impossible to set or unset the chain lock from the outside by any means. All tricks done from the corridor had been sealed by the red letters. No way. Is this Battler? There was suddenly a terrible sound, and the force pulling on the hanger was suddenly released. Then, when I pulled it out and looked, I lost all hope. As though it had been hit by the acid of the room's darkness, the tip of the hanger had burned and bubbled and melted off. Now it's pitifully short. This can't be used for anything. It would be useless to search for a substitute. All schemes to stop the chain from the outside had been prevented. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. I threw the remnants of the wire hanger against the floor, faced the hallway filled with a warm light, and called for help. However, I just choked, unable to speak at all. Everyone's just down the corridor, and everything's peaceful there. I can't hear their voices, but I know. I'm sure they're all having a good time playing cards. Please, someone notice. Someone save me. Burn Castell, what did you do to Battler? Oh no. I don't know how to... Oh my god. Wait. What is happening? This time it wasn't the witch's voice, it was the happy voices of everyone else, which I could hear coming from the other end of the hallway. Battler was there. Is it Battler the... it's hard to say. Is this after the wedding? Someone come over here and save me. Is this after the wedding or what's happening? George slammed his last card down, ending the game with his victory once again. Everyone gasped in unison. The cousin room was filled with laughter as they enjoyed their card game.
やっぱりジョージの兄貴が持ってたか。憎い。スペードの6が憎い。
バートラのダイヤの8もエグかったぜ。もう悔しい。
ジョージお兄ちゃんすごい。また勝った。
そうだよ。また僕たちの勝ちだね。
Maria couldn't really hold her own in an all-out battle, so she had teamed up with George, which was why she was celebrating his victory.
乾杯です。
Kanon winced and let his cards drop to the table. The game of sevens between Kanon and the cousins had been a fierce battle. Normally they would take things easy since Maria was there, so this sort of game was rare. Kanon had started taking the game seriously, unwilling to lose, so George and Battler had responded, and the battle had grown fierce. Unlike Battler, who was carefree enough to enjoy it whether he won or lost, Kanon's mood changed drastically with every victory and defeat. It was less of a dislike for losing, and more that he wasn't used to playing. He wasn't used to trading a few wins and losses with his opponents, so he took even losses within a game seriously. since he had resolved to win, and had unfortunately challenged the veteran players George and Ballard. The result was plain to see. As Kanon slapped his shoulder, Jessica slapped him on the back.
惜しかった惜しかったでも楽しいぜ本気で戦うのはね。
本気だろうとそうでなかろうと結果が負けでは何の意味も。
とんでもない。本気で戦った結果の負けならすがすがしいもんだぜ。
Give it your all and you won't feel regrets. It always feels weird because I feel like that'll be the opposite. You work hard so much for something and you don't get it. You gave it your all and you don't get that thing, and then it must feel very frustrating for.
いい加減に戦っての負けじゃ本気出してたら勝ってた云々で未練タラタラでしょ。
If you went in half-assed to get something, maybe you would, I wasn't trying, you could make excuses and soften the blow, but if you gave it your all, everything you had, then that'll feel very, very bad. Yeah.
そうだな。全力を尽くしたやつは言い訳しない。そして結果に関わらず爽やかなもんさ。
I don't agree with that.
そうだね。そしてそういう人間が一番怖いのさ。そこから必ず何かを学び成長するからね。
確かに僕は臆病だから何も学ばなかった。だから未だに未熟なんだ。
I am furniture, so any dreams I might have are pointless, because he really believed that. He distanced himself from everything, shutting himself away. However, during that same time, Shannon had undergone many life adventures, and now her hand was resting on the door separating furniture and humans. That the old Kanon would only have seen this card game as a way to pass the time. However, the new Kanon was now capable of gaining something new from this experience. That's probably what it means to grow. Furniture does nothing but rot with the passage of time. The ability to grow is a privilege given only to humans. Alone time with Jessica, maybe?
一緒に遊んでくれてありがとう。日誌とか書いたり忙しかったんだろ。付き合ってくれて本当にサンキューだぜ。
いいえ、僕も楽しかったです。いえ、これが楽しいことなんだって理解できました。僕を無理に誘ってくれてありがとうございます。
I'm loving Kanon's new sprites.
私たちはさ、もっともっといろいろなことに挑戦していこう。
The way he smiles but doesn't look at the camera is so telling.
そして君が知らなかったものを探しに行こう。それでさっきの話だけどさ、ギターとか興味ない？いや別に無理にとは言わないけど、その、
I feel like Kanon is more of a drums guy.
きっと難しいでしょうね。
まあね。
I'm loving his sprites, man. I'm loving it.
でもさ、そこは丁寧に教えるし、練習は私も付き合うから。まあ言うほど私もうまくないんだけどね。
At first, Kanon was scared that he might make a complete fool of himself if he touched a musical instrument for the first time in his life. After all, he knew that screwing up like that would make him feel bad. However, Kanon was starting to learn.
初めてで下手なのは当たり前です。それから逃げてたら永遠に何も学べない、何にも至れない。
そうさ、だからこそ人は上達を実感して面白くなるんじゃねえかよ。私だって最初はさ、右手と左手が別々に動くってだけでもう全然ダメだったぜ。でも少しずつコツが分かってくるとさ、だんだん当たり前になってきて。
僕も その境地に至りたいです。そのための道の一つにお嬢様との音楽活動があるならぜひご一緒させてください。
本当に？
はい、きっと最初は不出来でお嬢様を失望させてしまうこともあるでしょう。でも本気でやっての失敗だったらそれは清々しいものに違いないとさっきお嬢様たちに教わりましたから。
I feel so bad for Jessica. I feel so bad for her.
照れるぜ。
お嬢様のことをもっと好きになりました。あなたは太陽のような人なのに、こんなにもずっと近くにいたのにそれに気づけなかった。
The fact remains that they don't survive this. They die here.
じゃあもっと好きになってもらえるように頑張っちゃうぜ。
Jessica, Maria, George, they didn't deserve this. They did not.
いや
Rosa, Ava, maybe Rudolph, maybe Cross, maybe Nazi as well. Maybe they deserved it because maybe they made Shannon's life, Shannon's childhood, maybe they made that childhood very bad for her. Maybe they deserve it. But Rosa, who in quotation marks killed her mother, might be a target of revenge as well. That's why I think that Beatrice was overly harsh with Rosa in all the games. So Kanon's serious and competitive words were more than enough to make Jessica shy. However, Kanon's expression unexpectedly clouded.
僕がお嬢様を好きになれる理由はこんなだからわからなくて辛いです。
何が？
お嬢様が僕を好きになる理由です。お嬢様と違い僕は何も照らしてない。今だってお嬢様に照らされながらその背中についていってるだけです。そんなみすぼらしい僕をお嬢様が好きになる理由が何一つ思いつかないんです。
そんなことはないぜ。カノン君にだっていいところはいっぱいある。
恥を忍んでお聞きします。お嬢様は僕の何が気に入られたのですか？
Kanon hung his head. Since he had never learned anything on his own, he'd never been able to take the initiative with her in any way. The fact that he was accepting her affection one-sidedly, unable to do anything but simply receive it, made him sad and frustrated at himself. Jessica was at a loss for words. After all, compared to the reason that Kanon had started to love Jessica, Jessica's reason was a lot more vague. She had heard Shannon talking about her love with George, and at school she and her friends had always talked about relationships with boys. There had been nothing strange about a girl fascinated the idea of romance, developing an interest in a nearby member of the opposite sex. However, if you put that into words, it might misinterpret to mean that any nearby boy would have done just as well. However, she could still be proud of the feeling she had at this very instant. She really did love Kanon, and she truly wanted to experience romance. As a result, they might end up together, or they might not. However, she reached that result without holding back. She could accept it, no matter which it was. That's why she was able to become serious and honest about how she felt. However, she couldn't find the right words to tell Kanon this. When Kanon saw Jessica bite her lower lip, in frustration, he finally realized.
バカだな。僕のどこが気に入ったんですかなんて質問。本当にバカらしいと思ったんです。自分に本気じゃないから自分のことさえ理解できてない証拠なんだ。
Yes, Kanon. Oh God, character development.
そんなことをお嬢様に言わせようとするなんて僕は最低だ。
そんなことないよ。女の子だって男子に告白されたら最初に聞いてみたい質問だもん。自分のどこを気に入ってくれたのって。
それを相手に尋ねる時点で僕は未熟なんです。そんな未熟者に気に入ってもらえるようなものがあるわけがない。
いや、そうじゃなくて
Jessica panicked, trying desperately to explain how she felt. Rokkenjima was calm, and then he spoke.
だから僕がお嬢様を好きになるように、お嬢様にも僕を好きになってほしい。そのために僕は自分を変えていくことにします。今はまだこんな自分をお嬢様に好きになってもらえるとは到底思えません。
Is Kanon becoming one of the best boys?
でもいつか必ず。
ああ、絶対素敵なカノン君になれるよ。私がベタベタに惚れちゃうくらいの素敵な男の子になれる。
When everything ends, I'm gonna make a list of the best boys of the series.
私はそれまで
Best girls
ず
as
っと一緒
well.
にいるから。時間なんていくらでもある。
Kanon is very high up there in the list.
ただ時間がそうないのが悔やまれます。
時間って？
家具の話をするとお嬢様が悲しまれます。でも話さなければなりません。そしてそれは僕が本気で戦わなければならないことでもあるのです。
何の話？家具だから恋ができないとか、そういう話ならもう聞きたくないよ。カノン君は家具なんかじゃない、人間だよ。
はい、だから人間になろうと思います。ですがまだ家具なんです。
ならなろうよ、人間に。
かつて魔女は教えてくれました。この世の一なる元素、それは愛だと。それはこの世に住まう人間は当たり前のように享受できるものです。しかし家具として生み出されたこの世ならざる身には当たり前ではないのです。
Kanon is just a personality.
その当たり前でないものを得るには魔法か奇跡が必要なんです。
In just the same way that Nissan and George-sama would never have ended up as they have without borrowing the power of the golden butterfly brooch.
さっきからこれがわからないの。
何がわからぬというか聞かせよ。
今回のゲームが始まり、短くない時間がシャノンやカノンの恋への決意に割かれてきたわ。それ自体は自らを家具と蔑んできた少年少女の青春の決意と成長の物語と好意的に見てもいい。
That's one of the roots of the problem, I guess. Shannon and Kanon falling in love with different people, while there's still a part of them still holding out on Ballard. It's a love pentagram. It's a love decagon.
でも二人のある前提にさっきから強い違和感を覚えるの。
なぜ魔法が必要なのかであるか。
シャノンもカノンも、いえ、あえて家具と呼ぶわ。家具たちは最初から一貫して人間とは恋愛ができないと主張してきた。そこに黄金蝶のブローチという魔法が介在し、その魔法という奇跡の結果、ジョージお兄ちゃんとの恋愛が成立した。そう主張してるわ。
身分の違いによる許されぬ恋が実るには魔法の奇跡でもないことにはありえぬと、そう考えたとしても無理はあるまい。
そうね。だから使用人の身分であるシャノンとカノンが共に後宮家の人間に恋をし、許されざる恋に苦悩して自らを家具と卑下したとしても、それは納得できるの。
I guess both of them are personalities of Shannon, the real one.
ではそなたの納得できない点とは。
Shannon for George, Kanon for Jessica, Beatrice for Battler.
再び魔法の力がなければ結
They're
婚はで
their
きない。
pieces. They're their furniture, basically.
それがシャノンとカノンの2人の共通認識になってる。これがどうしてもよく理解できないの。
After meeting in secret for quite some time, George and Shannon had finally gotten engaged. Both were fully prepared for it emotionally, and though there will be some trouble with the relatives, it would probably be impossible for anyone to prevent their marriage by this point.
結ばれようとする2人の間に立つなぞ。飛ぶ矢の前に立ちてそれを掴もうとするにも等しい愚行よ。
そういうこと。伴侶を生涯守りきると誓ったジョージお兄ちゃんにとって両親の反対や感動さえ恐れるものではない。むしろそれらさえも彼女への愛を示すちょうどいい試練だとさえ思っているわ。
But what if this is a test for Shannon? Shannon's love for him instead. Shannon, yeah, Shannon for George, Kanon for Jessica, Beatrice for Battler.
つまり2人は必ず結婚する。誰も拒めない。そして2人は婚約を快諾した。
Kanon never wanted to be with Jessica because he had feelings for Jessica but never acted on it. Or Shannon had feelings for Jessica, never acted upon it. Then Battler came back, and those hidden feelings for Battler returned. And she started the murders because she remembered how he betrayed her in the past.
誰にも拒めない、阻めない、馬に蹴られてなんとやらであるな。
そう。だから不思議なの。魔法なんて必要ない。
If George and Shannon had won Ava's approval for their engagement, then magic might really have been necessary. After all, Ava had forbidden his relationship with her. No matter how much George spoke on Shannon's behalf, the chances of Ava being convinced were very near zero. If that were the case, it would mean it'd be understandable if they wanted a magical miracle to make Ava's acknowledge that engagement.
しかしジョージお兄ちゃんはきっぱりと誓ってるわ。両親に婚約を認められなくても構わないと。そう。2人の婚約を阻む理由は何も存在しないの。そしてそれはシャノンだってよく知ってるはず。なのになぜ彼女はこの順風満帆の婚約を受けたこの夜になおも魔法の奇跡を祈るの？
魔法の奇跡を得なければ家具たちの主張であるな。
つまりこういうこと。シャノンはジョージの婚約を受けているけど魔法の奇跡がなければ成就されない障害が残っていると知っていることになる。そしてその障害は2人の努力では取り除けないとも。だから魔法という奇跡が必要。
So she prays for George to be the one to reach the Golden Lands so that he survives. But he doesn't. He never reaches the Golden Land. He never reaches the gold. He never solves the epitaph, so he fails and dies. Is that the magic? Is that the miracle she needs? Battler never reaches it either. He dies. Only Ava reaches the gold, maybe in the third game. Guess in the fifth game Battler also did, but Shannon didn't do anything there. Maybe she did. Maybe she did, but we don't see the aftermath of that. The game pauses and we don't see what Battler and Shannon did after that.
どうして魔法がいるの？愛し合う2人に結ばれるための他にどんな奇跡が必要だっていうの？
And Kanon doesn't believe that Jessica will ever reach the gold, so there's no need for him to try and act on his feelings for her because she'll never reach the gold. She believes in Shannon believes in George because he's smart. He's but he doesn't have any drive to solve the epitaph. And that's where he fails. Battler was an opportunity to solve the epitaph because he never seen it. It's the first time he's seeing it when he arrives.
なるほど。
Feathering listened to Angie's interpretation, smiling in a very satisfied way. Apparently she had already reached that conclusion and enjoyed watching Angie finally manage to do the same.
そしてその疑問はカノンにも向けられるわ。ジェシカお姉ちゃんとの恋路は始まったばかりだけど、二人の気持ちはまっすぐ。
So, this is a test for George, Jessica, and Battler. Jessica, unfortunately, she loses by default, and George never tries. So all hopes go to Battler in the last family conference, but he doesn't solve it. Is that it?
何の障害もないわ。黄金蝶のブローチの力なんか関係なく、もう恋仲に慣れてる。何年もの交際を経て、やがては結婚に行き着いても何もおかしくない。こっちも障害は何も存在しないのよ。
クラウスと夏日に結婚を認めさせようと思わない限り、こちらもまた魔法の奇跡は必要なさそうであるな。
そういうこと。シャノンの生き方を見て、カノンもまた生き方を変えた。そして素直な気持ちを伝え、ジェシカお姉ちゃんと二人で恋路を歩み始めた。必要ないのよ、もはや魔法は。片思いの相手になら恋のおまじないも必要かもしれない。でももはや両者は相思相愛、意思も疎通できてる。なのにどうしてその上魔法の奇跡が必要なの？
Both furniture were in relationships of mutual love. There shouldn't have been any need for a miracle any longer. I guess it's because it's not mutual love. She still demands something. It's hard to grasp at Shannon's direct motives without having. So why do they still desire some miracle? And on top of that, the single brooch was portrayed as bestowing only a single miracle. Guess it's damning that she never really covers for George, Jessica, or Maria in the end. So it felt almost as though Shannon was hesitating, because if she used that miracle for herself, Kanon's chances at love would be automatically sealed away for eternity. So
つまりこういうことよ。
So finding the gold is the deciding factor here, is what I'm getting at. If you find the golds, then you're the one.
どうして家具は恋をしてはいけないの？
Until then, Shannon will be indecisive between three people.
魔法という奇跡なくしては、なぜ恋が許されぬことになっているのか。
そして堅くなに恋ができないと嘆いていた家具たちに、それを許すことのできる黄金蝶のブローチって一体何だっていうの？
もちろん魔法の結晶であるぞ。ただし多くの魔法と同様に半魔法の毒素で焼かれもする。
つまり魔女や魔法を信じる者にしか効果がないということなんですね。
その通りだ。よってわらわと交流することができたシャノンにはその効果を発揮した。しかしもしシャノンがそのブローチを砂浜に落とし、何も知らぬ者が拾ったとしたら、
その者が半魔法の毒をまとっていたら、ブローチの魔法は力を発揮できない。
そういうことだ。魔女のアイテムは直接の手渡しでなければ力を失うことが多いということだ。しかし魔女の存在を大勢の人間が認めることで半魔法の毒素がなくなり権限することができるのと同じに、
A brooch would be a brooch without handing it directly. a stranger would see no value in it, but her daughter would see value in it.
大勢の人間がそのアイテムの魔力を信じれば逆に魔力を維持することもある。
And Kanon broke the brooch because Kanon was frustrated with his own mother for leaving them there, never raising them. Maybe. I'm trying to guess at the motives here, like the direct things, not just breaking free or getting revenge to the family or Battler's promise, but more direct things.
私たち魔女がどんな魔法を授けても、それを受け取れるかどうかは全て人間次第なんですね。
薬もそうだと聞いているぞ。同じ薬を飲んでもその効果を知らされている人間にはより大きい効果が出るという。
あ、ちょっとわかります。風邪薬とか飲んだ時、薬効の解説書とか読んでると薬の効きがいいような気がしますよね。
As she listened, Beato thought that magic sounded a bit like a ritual. When most humans think of magic, they think of incredible miracles being performed one after another in front of a crowd of the other humans. However, this true magic that the older sister spoke of sounded almost like a ritual, something that has no effect if the person using it doesn't believe. Shannon's heart was captured by George bit by bit as he grew by leaps and bounds. However, she had given up, thinking that one of a different class such as herself would never find love with him. That was when Beatrice had given her the golden butterfly brooch and encouraged her. Giving up means that you've got zero chance of success. However, if the power of magic makes you think that there might have been some chance to your wish coming true, then the odds of it happening are at least greater than zero. Zero remains zero forever, so miracle is a fitting word to describe even faint chance of coming into existence. Humans can use magic to defeat resignation, the process by which they themselves make their probability of success zero. When a human refuses to give up, though their chances of success may be small, those chances do exist, and the more determined they become, the greater those odds rise. It was easy to imagine Shannon making earnest wishes upon that brooch, believing in its effect, and trying little things over and over again to get George to like her.
信じる力が魔法になる。
そしてそれを信じさせる者が魔女だ。
Those who make others believe are witches. That's an interesting way to put it. If you think about it, it's true. Let's say a witch steps into a spotlight, waves her staff in front of a crowd of onlookers, and makes a rabbit appear out of thin air. The many people who see it will surely assume it to be a sleight of hand. They might wonder how it was accomplished, but they'll surely say that it couldn't have been real magic. And when they applaud, it would be for a splendid trick that only appeared to be magic. But what if someone performed a sacred ceremony inside a great ancient temple in front of a crowd of believers and ended up with the exact same result? Would any of the people there think it was a sleight of hand? In fact, the ancient past, when magic tricks as a form of entertainment didn't even exist and divine spirits were worshipped, this would doubtlessly have been a miracle of magic.
ならこれは魔法になるでしょうか。
ほう、魔法の使いの魔女のそなたが初めて振るう魔法とはどんなものか。
But she teleports, what the fuck?
ここに空の紅茶のカップがあります。中身は空です。
Oh.
空っぽであるぞ。
Is she gonna get a candy out of it?
それから
これをこうしてテーブルの上に伏せておきます。
それから
一緒に目を閉じて魔法の呪文を唱えます。
Oh god, this is so wholesome. Why? It was the same magic that had been used to give Maria candies. Beato the Elder grinned and closed her eyes. When she saw this, Beato slowly chanted the incantation.
さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。カップの中に何が入っていたのか。
Why is the tense?
さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。カップの中に何が入っていたのか。
As she chanted, Beato slowly opened her eyes and made sure the older sister was repeating her with her eyes closed. Then a single gold butterfly appeared out of nowhere, fluttered down onto the overturned cup, and scattered away in a golden splash.
もうよいか？
はい。目を開けてカップの中身を改めてください。
さてさて、そなたが初めて使う魔法はいかほどのものか。
The sound effects are making me tense. Taking her time and dragging out the suspense a little, the older sister lifted the cup.
おや？
いかがでしょうか。
Far, when the cup was lifted up, there lay a single golden rose petal.
これは魔法になるでしょうか。
なるとも。
Oh god, this is so sad. This is a daughter making her first magic towards her mother. Ah man, this is so sad.
そなたが魔法にて伏せたカップの中に黄金の花びらを生み出した。
So the second Beatrice can use the golden truth.
見事な魔法であったぞ。
愛がなければ見えない。それは理解できてるの。
これを手品だと断じるもよし、魔法だと信じるもよし、そのものの毒素次第であろうな。
でもこれはかつての魔法の一部を説明はできるけど、全てを説明することはできないわ。話を戻すけれど、この程度の魔法やおまじないを信じるという程度の話では、頑なに恋ができないと嘆いていた家具たちにそれを許すことのできる黄金蝶のブローチとは一体何かという問いに答えられない。
そこにいる二人のベアとの話を鵜呑みにするなら、魔法には彼らの諦めを取り除く力があると考えるのが妥当であろう。
どうして家具は恋をしてはいけないの？どうして魔法のブローチの力が必要なの？確かにあんたやベアトたちの話は一見それにおぼろげとはいえ答えを与えているような気がする。でも朗読者だから言わせて、それでは納得がいかないの。
納得とは？
家具たちはもっともっと悲壮な宿命に抗おうとしているわ。恋愛成就のお守りを託されたくらいで自己改革ができる程度のものだったとは思えないの。現にシャノンはかつてジョージお兄ちゃんとの出会いのきっかけを作ったのはブローチのおかげだけど、それ以降は魔法の力を借りずに関係を深めたいと言ってベアトにブローチを返そうとさえしたわ。彼女はその時点で一度は魔法の奇跡と決別したはずなのに、なぜ再びその力を必要としているの？
さて、恋と結婚は別物としか言いようがないであろうな。
Catherine laughed lightly. She had probably formed a theory of her own and was laughing at Angie, who hadn't reached it yet.
聞かせてよ、あんたの見解。
もう少し寝かせたい。それに疑問を持ち思考を巡らすそなたを見ることもまた朗読の楽しみだ。私の見解を話せばそなたはそれに納得し思考を止める。
I mean, I build on my theories all the time, so I'm not different than that.
それでは朗読が面白くない。
すでに答えを知ってる推理小説を読ませて右往左往するところを見て楽しんでるってわけね。
I assume my theories are correct until I am giving something that takes them back. So I always try to build up on what I thought.
それが感激の魔女というものだ。悪趣味と笑いたくば笑うがよい。我が巫女よ。
So
わははは。
Oh my god. Angie, you're just too great. I understand that power of magic is created by a believing heart. And that magic probably permeates deep into the world of us humans as well. However, though it permeates so far, power that dwells within magic is small. Lots of people visit shrines to pray for success on tests. However, people rarely credit such a visit as the reason for their success. By itself, praying does little more than giving one peace of mind. In love, where even a small chance, a little bit of courage can result in major changes, this power can sometimes bring about incredible transformations. However, would something like that really be enough to change the insurmountable fate of furniture? In the past, when Shannon and George were brought together, I imagined that the brooch's magical power functioned as little more than a ritualistic charm. However, by now, the magical power that the furniture seek from that brooch, it's not something as vague as a ritual. It feels much stronger, like a whole different interpretation of magic. If you believe in sleight of hand, it becomes magic. But that's no more than a child's trick. That only explains one part of magic. They are hoping for something. They're hoping for something with much more power. For true magic, not a sleight of hands.
家具たちは黄金蝶のブローチにどんな魔法を期待しているというの？
黄金蝶のブローチ？
黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェが霊境を割るのと引き換えにシャノンに与えたこれがそれです。
From his pocket, Kanon pulled a single wing from a gold butterfly. There was a single wing. It was easy to tell from its shape that it had originally been part of something with a butterfly motif.
このブローチの魔法はシャノンにジョージ様と恋仲になる機会を与えました。しかしそれを最後まで成就する前に僕に譲りました。だから僕はこのブローチの力でお嬢様の好意を得ました。
そんなわけないよ。私がカノン君を好きになったのは自分の素直な気持ちだぜ。
ありがとうございます。お嬢様は人間だから魔女も魔法も信じない。無理もないことです。しかし魔法で生み出された家具の僕がここに存在すること自体が魔法の奇跡の存在する証拠なのです。
ごめん、何の話？
Jessica tried to make sense of Kanon's words. However, she couldn't understand and had to ask him to repeat it, wearing a stiff smile.
僕もシャノンも恋を成就させるには魔法が必要なのです。そのための鍵がこのブローチ。僕が踏んで割ったので僕たちは一つずつ持ち合っています。
The brooch had lost its power when it was split in half. However, if it was ever joined together again, its magic would be revived. It revived the miraculous power that could join furniture and a human together.
しかし一つのブローチは一人の願いしか叶えない。家具の僕たちはこの一つのブローチによってどちらかしか結ばれ得ないのです。
That was the final seed of love, a spark of love, which the old, shrilly laughing Beatrice has sown. The old Beatrice had said that humans tormented by this spark were like ripe fruit, which she crudely used for her own enjoyment. However, the magic infused within this seed was real. It was only the crystallization of magic that the Golden Witch Beatrice ever left in this world. its glint increased. Oh.
何？
大丈夫です。でも直接は見ないで。目をやられます。
Oh my god, that face. The glint grew even stronger, shining like the sun. That face! Even without Shannon's warning, Jessica wouldn't have been able to stop herself from covering her eyes with her hands. As the light grew stronger, a sound like the roar of the sea... No, a sound like the roar of the wind or the tide also grew in intensity. The sound of the wind and rain outside had already been overwhelming. Jessica could no longer even stand, and she crouched on the floor. A flood of sound and light until it withdrew. Jessica could nothing but moan. Oh my god. Okay. Is Jessica gonna be the first? Zapar and what? Fur? Oh god.
さあさあさあ、今は大丈夫ですよ。急ぎましょう。
Okay. The new Beatrice is quietly rising up the ranks. She's in S rank right now. I think she's ahead of both Cornelia and Gertrude, so let's see. Oh god, this really is Kanon. Yes, S rank for Kanon. S rank for Kanon, please. What else? Jessica has been very good this episode as well. George, I have been very critical of this guy since the very beginning, but I'm starting to enjoy his presence a little, so no more C rank for this boy. What else? Kanon, yes. One of the best boys in the series, along with Ballard and Ronove. What else? Erika. She didn't do much this episode. She just extracted some information from Kumasawa and she bashed Ballard for introducing romance into her mystery islands. Romance she didn't need to be a part of. But how the fuck do we get to the wedding? I still don't know. How do we get there? Why? I don't get it. Ange and Rin. Oh man, they're like the commentators right now. They're basically a podcast between Ange and Rin discussing about Umineko. Oh my god. Oh man, I'd watch that podcast. Thanks for watching.